everybody to Tony's Top Tips Workshop. It's been a while since I've made a video, and I'm going to explain why. I've had one or two messages wondering if that I was, asking if I was okay health-wise and that, and I said yeah, I'm absolutely fine. The reason why I haven't made any videos is because I've been doing a project at the top of the house. Our house is built on 3 levels. You've got the level that you come in at, which has a garage at the side, utility kitchen or utility room downstairs, and you go up 2 half flights of stairs. That takes you to the lounge, dining room, conservatory and dining kitchen, so to speak. Then you go up another 2 half flights of stairs to the dormer bedrooms. It's like a bungalow with a garage underneath, in other words. And we obviously have a large bathroom downstairs on the sort of mid-floor, which is level with the back garden. It's very complicated, but it's with 3 like dormer bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, 2 of them dormers, 2 of them are like with they have sloping roofs in, but they have a velux window in. Now the smaller of the bedroom that I'm in now has now been converted to a large cloakroom with toilet, sink, and this is why it's been an extremely difficult job to do. Not that it's been difficult work-wise, because there's nothing that I couldn't have done up here anyway, but because I'm waiting for probably a knee operation, and it included a lot of kneeling down and I couldn't get up at some stage because I've been knelt on the floor that length of time. I had to crawl across to the door frame and pull myself up, but at the moment I'm coping quite well with it. So I'm just going to run through to I think I'll have an explanation to my subscribers that I haven't put any videos on. The last one I put on was through the control unit for the 4040, the new one. I've got the MPG. I've still been doing little bits and bats down in the workshop, and it's been, I can't express how easy that unit has made the job of operating the CNC. So but anyway, cut a long story short, I'll just go through with what I've actually done up here, and then I'll put you on the camera and I'll show you. Right, here we are. Now I'll show you from the outside. This is our staircase, and as you can see, it's all, now as you can see with the staircase, there's 4 flights of the hand turned newel posts. These, I've done all these myself, the spindles, handrails, everything I've done downstairs in the workshop, and it came out really good. And believe it or not, these are reclaimed from pitch pine joists from a recycling plant, and they came out absolutely spot on. Couldn't believe how well they varnished up, and no staining on, they're just varnished. It's a job that was never ending, or it seemed never ending, and each newel post that is put on separately to this, because my lathe would only take a maximum of the length of the newel post. That had to be done separately, and every one is more or less the same as the other, all turned from just a pattern, that's it. And there's quite a few of them, then there's half of one there. So going back to this, here was a roof space originally, that was a blank wall, so we put a door in, and and obviously it's got the radiators in. Put the radiator through, although there is one there. And then once you got the door through, it was all plasterboarded out and a Velux window installed. Now the Velux window's been in quite some time, and I'm trying to source a sealed unit for the Velux window because I don't know if you can see on there that it's blown, and it's got, that isn't on the glass inside or outside, it's inside the sealed unit. So I've got a new one of them to actually fit. The ceiling's just Artex on it. I've kept that on. This used to be a bedroom. When I opened it up, I put the floor joists in because there were actually ceiling joists in here. And the ceiling joists were they were about 2x3, and they weren't substantial enough to carry a floor. So hence I hung joists across and then boarded it. And it originally had a bed in there, a wardrobe over there, and built into underneath the eaves there a set of drawers with a top on. That there, as you can see, runs right across. That is an actual roof spar, roof timber, so it's just planed up and painted. You can't take it out, and you would have to cover it. You'd lose about another 4 inches of the room, but I wasn't going to do that. So this is the ensuite that we've done. It's one of them things. I looked on numerous sites for various sink units, toilets, and originally we were going to get a unit there where the sink would have been in top of the cistern. I didn't like that. With the sloping roof, I knew I could get something in that, and so we picked this one. Now the unfortunate thing is it's a right hand sink, left hand toilet obviously, but the cupboard door, you can't, in order to change it round, it isn't a simple case of actually unscrewing the hinges and putting them on the side. There's no hole markings like there is in normal units. You can put them on either side, so we've left it as it is. The whole unit there came from toilet, sink, tap, everything. To fit that in there came from Victorian Plumbing. Absolutely brilliant service. It was about £450, say, and that came with everything there: the tap, toilet seat, everything. And I paid for it online, and they gave me a delivery date, and the driver dropped it off on the pallet. I checked it over. He waited while I checked it over, and then he went away when I was happy. So I got all this, and then obviously the next thing I had to do is work out what we're going to do with the walls. And we didn't want to plaster over the Artex that was there, so what I decided to do was use the plastic panelling. Now I don't know if you can see that is what they call grey speckle. We bought the little bit of mistake I made was when I purchased these, the panels come in 250 wide, 2.6 meters tall. And I knew that I needed X amount, but when I ordered, because I was using two different types, this is like a metallic silver grey. When I was ordering these, I ordered the wrong amount. I ordered the wrong amount for them and the wrong amount for these. They should have been switched. So, and I couldn't reverse the order. So they work out about, for one panel, for I'll explain where I got them from. The panels work out at 250 wide, 2.6 meters tall, 5mm thick, and they work out at £6 each. So to do all this in here was about £100, and it's what a difference it's made. And the panels are so easy to fit. They're tongue and grooved. I'll show you some little offcuts I've saved just to show you on that. Right, here we are at the plastic. I said I'd show you. Right, these are just two offcuts I saved to show you. Now the plastic come, that's virtually the width of what it is, 250. And as you can see, it's made up of hollow sections, 5mm thick, between wall to wall. Back's plain, front's like a paint on it. And you notice it has a long tongue and groove, and a short one. The short one goes into the long one, simple as that. Okay, it's not a hard fit to get in, you don't have to click it in, it just slots straight in. Okay, it is supposed to be, if you use it upright for bathroom or shower panels, it is supposed to be watertight. I didn't use it for that because I have full panels in the bathroom, in the shower, but that's the makeup of the actual plastic cladding. Now what I would like to point out is you can cut this with a Stanley knife, a sharp Stanley knife. Square, you need a square in order to make sure you cut it square to the end sections. But I didn't do that. Stanley knife, what that does is sometimes it leaves a dent, as you can see there. You press a bit hard and it'll leave the edges like that. So you've got to score it a number of times, or I found if you did it, cut it from the back so you don't press the face in, you're pressing it against a flat surface. But I found it easier. I cut this and that edge has been cut with a multi-tool with the half round saw. Purchased one from Lidl, about 20 quid, and I just use that, paid for itself, and it's there to use again. And it cuts it a dream. Just use a baseboard underneath to rest that on, because obviously your cut comes through. And that's it. I drew on with a pen and cut to the line with a square, and that's it. Really, really easy to work with. And the beauty about the adhesive, you can see the adhesive on the back. It's like it doesn't go rock hard, but it's like when silicone sets, you can't pull it apart. It's very difficult to pull off a surface. But the beauty about this that I used from Wicks was, not only was it a fraction of the price, because some of these companies are wanting, I'll put a link in the description to where I actually purchased this from, Victorian Plumbing for that, and this, I think it were DSP or something. Anyway, I'll put a link in the description where I purchased this from. Very good service, it's not a problem, and it was delivered in 2.6 metre lengths, covered in plastic and in a box. But the Wicks adhesive, the companies were wanting, you could pay for 8 quid a tube, and believe it or not, I got 2 and a little bit of panels from one tube, so I used quite a lot of tubes in here. I had 2 left out of 12 that I purchased. £19 for a box of 12 from Wicks, and you just need a caulking gun and that's it. And basically, if that's the panel, all you do is go around the edges, and I did it about 1 inch in from all the edges, and then I just went like that up the middle. That's it. Left it about 1/4 inch caulking diameter where I cut the nozzle off, and that was it. Really, really simple to fix, and it gives you a lovely effect. And it's nothing that someone with a bit of DIY knowledge could do. I secured it to the wall with like a no nails, and I used Wicks's own. It worked out. I got a box for £19 on offer there. If you buy 12 of them, you get them for £19, and you put plenty on the back with a caulking gun, and that actually, once you put it to the wall, it doesn't come off. It's very good. You have certain mouldings you put in, as you can see in there, that's a corner moulding, so that plastic goes into there, and the other plastic goes into there, and that formulates a corner. But I found because that's, believe it or not, that's nearly as dear as a panel, and I thought it's quite expensive. So the offcut from there went down there. So put all new skirting boards in. So, and I knew that when I purchased these 2.6 metres, what offcut I got off here would fit over here all across. Okay, and so we've only got that wall in the grey speckle, this silver grey, and that's the silver grey. Okay, I had to move a couple of sockets and that, but that's about it. So all in all, I mean, it's only a small room, but there's been quite a bit of work involved. The panel, the ceiling is just a 2-groove panel painted and sealed. I left that up there because that were originally up there. So yeah, I mean, I'll show you a little bit of this. Now, when I was saying about the corner beading, it's quite good. I mean, it serves a purpose, and I liked it for those corners. But what I did find was you could butt joint the corners, which makes it easier in some ways. And then I purchased this off Amazon, and it is chrome self-adhesive corner moulding. Now that either folds internal corner or folds external corner, don't matter which, and it just self-adhesive sticks on, and I think it's neater than the other mouldings. And obviously you get it in a coil, and I've put it down there. And I also thought, what about trimming an edge up? So here where the light sockets are, I thought what I'll do is I'll use the same. So I've got a 10mm wide chrome strip, and that just, it's painted and edged. I mean, when I painted it, you could have just left that off. It was so neat when it was corked, but I didn't. I wanted to trim it off, so I used a chrome sticky. Again, reasonably cheap. You get about, I think, something like the corner one, 5 metres on it for about £7. Probably a bit more actually. Not cost, bit in the length. And this, I think, were 10 metres for about the same. So, you know, it worked out quite well. But going back to the, sidetracking a bit there, but going back to the sink unit, absolutely brilliant for the money this, and it's like a shiny white plastic. I'll just go down a bit nearer. But what I found was you don't necessarily need hot water for a cloakroom toilet. As long as you've soap and water, that's fine. But I didn't like that idea. I wanted hot water up here. But in order to get hot water up here from the floor right below, it couldn't come from the bathroom because that's all tiled and panelled. I would have had to have taken it externally right the way around outside the house, and I wasn't going to do that. So what I decided to do was, the cold water supply comes in down that wall through the studding, and it comes in from the attic from a capped water tank. Was for the central heating system, the old central heating system, which we have, we've had a while. We have a condensing boiler, so we don't need that. So I knew there were cold water supply still up there, so we brought that down to the toilet, cold filled to the sink, and what I did was I purchased a little hot water heater. Now can you see that hot water heater? And believe it or not, that was just under £40, just under £50. And the beauty about it is it's not a storage one. It plugs into a socket, which you can see at the back. It's quite up to spec, is that. There's no water above it, and actually that water heater works on a flow system. So the more flow you have coming through it, the cooler the water. So you slow it down. There's an isolation you can see just there. You can just see it there. And what you do is you just crack that open till you've got the required temperature at the tap, and that works a treat. The first one I got actually had a leak internally, and it leaked through here, and that's why I put that there, just to make sure that there's nothing, because I exchanged it and I put a new one in. They just exchanged it, did Amazon, and spot on. So there's nothing to adjust or anything. It does, as soon as you switch the hot water tap on, you get instant hot water. That cures the problem. So I've got hot water here now. Okay. But the other, the sink unit, it's actually, that's not secured by any means. It's no screws to it, to the base as that unit. It's resin, and it's a well finished resin sink. It's sat on like a funny type of rubber that's grooved all the way around. When you put that on, because it's heavy, but not that heavy that you can't lift it, you actually, it sort of grips it and it doesn't move. So it's one of them things where when you look at buying something like this, how do you fasten it down? Well, the other thing as well is on this unit, to show you a bit more, is normally you would have cork at the back of there, but because it's on a hand sink, I've not done that, and I'll tell you the reason why in a minute. It's a nice fit, the wall's straight, so there's no big gaps, it's all the same. It just casts a shadow line across there, as you can see, so I'm not going to bother corking that. And the reason why is, when you buy this unit, that panel there, right, and there's one at the bottom, that panel has two fittings there and two fittings there, and what they are the cam lock, where there's like screws on here, and the cams are on the end parts inside, and you lock them in place, and that locks it and makes this unit rigid. However, what they hadn't realised is if I silicone that down there at the back and secure it, and anything goes wrong with the cistern and it needs changing, the only way to get into that system would be to remove the sink. That would be disconnect the sink with the two flexible hoses and lift the sink off, isolate the water supply, which there are isolations, and then you would lift this sink off. So if I silicone that, I would be forever scraping silicone off. So that's why I've left it as it is. It's sturdy, it doesn't move, you can, it's fixed solidly down by must be like the suction of the rubber. But also is when originally, because the plumbing on this originally had a leak from the fresh water supply into the toilet at the top, which is at the back of this panel. So this panel comes on quick release fittings. You pull the panel off. Right, problem is, if that's secured permanently, once you've put everything in and got your cistern in up and running, which you can do with the sink top off, it's not a problem. You've got a leak, and we saw one down at the bottom here from this rubber seal wanting correctly, which goes into the back of the toilet. How would you get that off in order to deal with the leak, or in actual fact get into the cistern if you have with the siphon? It's now an impossible. You would have to take that sink off, and then with these clips they pull off this board, they pull off that way, so you would have to remove the toilet. So it's just a bit of advice for people when they're fitting these. Is what I did was I took the two cams out of here, this side and that side, but left the studs on the screws. and I don't think you can see, but I can pull that. You see that? It moves, it clips. And I purchased from Amazon 2 quick release clips. One for there and one for here. That panel now pulls off. It leaves this attached, which you just press a button and it releases the whole panel. The cable comes out. Simple. This then, the clips you take off before you actually fit the toilet. So that panel then, because you remove this here, that's on top now, disconnected. This panel moves over and to up and out, and you can lift that panel out, but you must take the quick release clips off. Okay, and it just gives you full access now to the back of the toilet or to the cistern. And it's just a little bit of advice when you're fitting these. They look great, but you've got to think about access, and obviously when they put them on there, the access that they're thinking about is from the top. If you can do it without that, then that's removing that, that's even better. So that's what I do. Clip that off, disconnect it, put it on the top, slide this panel up to the side and out, and you can get to anything in there. Okay, it's just a little bit of advice for them that's fitting it. I mean, I'm not a plumber, and to be fair, I got my relation who's his job's a plumber. He came and fitted it in for me, because what you don't realise is, because we only had a toilet downstairs and it's directly below this, the soil stack didn't come up here, it came up and out of the roof at the side. In fact, I'll show you that. You see the soil stack there? Okay. So what he did was, I got everything prepared for the floor cut out so you can pipe underneath and everything, and he just bored all through. We changed the cast soil stack, put all new plastic in, and of course he had the gear to do that. And he's the thing about it is, it's all done in plastic piping, barring the flexible hoses. And the thing about it all is, if I'd have, for what it costs you for the plumbing in, by the time you get a core drill to go through the wall, buy all your fittings, let somebody that knows what they're doing do it. I can solder copper pipe. I've done a lot of piping in the house, copper and this and other, but he had all the gear. So I just asked him. He said, "Yeah, come across and do it for you, Tony." So he came across and did it all for me. But I've done everything else. So that is the reason why I've done no other videos. It's been a real time consumer in here. The other thing as well is the floor. As you can see, it's just a chipboard floor. I have got cardine, like teak planking. I had 3 boxes left from doing the lounge, so I'm going to put that down in there and put that down myself. But unfortunately, it's a kneeling job, so I'll probably end up sleeping down here. But that's the last job that will be done in here. The mirror is, on a night time, it gives you a real good effect. I'll switch it on for you. Okay, now the mirror is from Amazon. It was about £50 odd. It has 3 buttons on it. One for on. One, the blue one, as you can see on the left, is for the heated part in it, to stop it demisting. Well, obviously you don't need that up here demisting. It's pointless, because it's just a cloakroom. But it is ideal for bathrooms in it, and it heats a certain part up where you don't get any moisture on don't mist up. The right one is the on one, on and off, and the middle one is the memory. So it isn't coloured, it does white, but different shades of white, warm white, daylight, and different intensities. So once you switch it on and press the M, keep pressing it, it gives you different effects. And then once you leave it on a setting, if you go to the main switch and turn it off, when you come in again, you don't need to, if you switch that down, you shouldn't have to come across here and switch it on. It should illuminate the room. So what we do is, when you come in, you switch it, you'll get the 3 initial blue lights, and then the mirror will light up on the last memory function. So it's pretty good. And it just gives, on a night time, it gives a lovely, warm, relaxing feeling. I know it's a loo, but so there it is. That's my workload that I've been doing over the last few weeks, amongst other things, and a radiator to sort out and that. So although it's only a small room, it's been quite intense. But there you go. Right, I'm back round now. So I just hope that it's just, you know, explained what I've been tied up with in the last few weeks. And not only that, we're doing the loft. So my daughter's not so long since moved out earlier on this year, so we've a room that's empty, and we've been bringing things down out of the loft, putting it in there, sorting it out, going down to the tip, and you know, recycling plant and getting rid of the stuff we don't want anymore. So it's been quite intense over the last few weeks. So I hope you've enjoyed the short video. Well, short, they're never short, mine. But please like and subscribe, and I do apologise for not making any videos from the workshop on CNCs or the lasers for a while. I have plans to do quite a number of videos, and I'm looking at purchasing another laser unit. I don't know which one yet, I haven't decided, but I will let you know that in the near future. So that concludes my video. So as I always say at the end of my videos, be safe, be careful, and bye for now.